Now, with retainers, it's generally expected that you're going to give a deal or a discount because the client is agreeing to give you consistent work or a large volume of work. Now, to avoid this becoming an issue for you, you want to make your per project rates a little bit higher, just as a general rule. That way, when you start working with a client, you can quote them that initial price and say, well, here's what it would cost to complete one project. Here's my retainer package. So if we work together consistently over the long term, I'm going to bring down the price for you. Clients are, for the most part, used to working this way, and they will expect a deal and a package. So if you plan to pitch retainer work to the client, always start that price a little bit higher, knowing that you will bring it down. The third rule is to make invoicing at the beginning of the month a habit. The reason for this being is that, number one, the client is going to expect a more streamlined, easier payment process. That is the benefit of working with somebody on a continual basis, is not having to worry about, 50% deposit, now remaining balance, invoice coming your way, right? Nobody wants to do more paperwork, not me and not the client. Both people want to save time with one invoice, but I recommend that you invoice at the beginning of the month before you do the work, because you're the one that's blocking off your schedule and denying additional clients because you're saving that spot in your schedule for them. Therefore, to safeguard yourself, because you're not taking on additional work, you want the money up front. That's where the relationship aspect of all of this comes in. They should be able to trust you, and that if they give you 100% of the fee in the beginning of the month, that they will get the deliverables by the end of the month. Okay, so now that you understand retainer packages, let's get into the actual how-to of how you create it visually, how you structure it, how you break it out, and how you send it. Now, because we're freelancers, we create everything in our business. No two retainer packages are going to be the same, and it's ultimately up to you how you want to create and structure them. It'll be highly based on you, your experience level, and your client's desires. I'm going to share with you the two most common retainers that I see, things that I've used in my own business. Hopefully you can steal those strategies to some extent and personalize it to your own business. So I'm going to share with you two types of retainers. Number one is a retainer package. And that just basically looks like gathering a bunch of copywriting services, bundling them into one package, and putting a flat price on it. Now, the second type of retainer is what I call a tiered retainer package, which basically means you're offering 3 levels of service: low, medium, and high, and the client gets to choose which tier they want to pursue. Let me explain both of those to you. The bundled package for me typically looks like a number of services that go hand in hand. Like I mentioned before, it's typically a long form gated asset like an ebook. It's probably several shorter form blog posts that tie into the ebook. It's an email sequence that allows them to promote the ebook, and then a landing page that directs the reader to that download page, right? So that's my bundle. And I would typically charge a certain amount for each one of those services: the blog post, the ebook, the email sequence. And instead what I do is I take some money off of each service and then factor that into a package price. Now, my tiered pricing retainer is like this. To make it as simple as possible, I'll give you an example. If it was a tiered blog retainer, tier 1 would be 2 blogs per month. Tier 2 would be 4 blogs per month, and tier 3 would be 6 blogs per month. And obviously the price would increase with each tier. There's some pricing psychology in this, and that's why I like the tiered pricing approach, because when presented with 3 different levels, the client is most likely to choose the mid-range. If your mid-range is good in terms of pricing, you'll always be happy with what they ultimately choose because it'll be a decent sized retainer.